I suppose some introductions are in order.
It's that new 5th year.
Must be different. Starting Hogwarts in your 5th year.
I wonder where they're from.
They're lucky they didn't end up as dragon fruit. Like that whole, Did you see the way they just waltzed in at the end of the sorting ceremony last night?
I really hope we get to see, or at least hear more.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
I think they're hiding from.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. Ugh, not going to move there, are you?
Here, watch this.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Checkmate.
Told you. You should have listened to me. Ah, I know who you are. You're the new Slytherin, the one who barged in with Professor Fig last night. Interesting tactic on your first day, taking all the attention away from the first years. I'm Imelda, by the way. Shame I wasn't with you in Fig. I could have lured that dragon away. My skills on a broom are legendary.
We handled it. And I think you're underestimating the nature of a dragon. A broom would have been kindling.
Ha, not the way I fly. Perhaps one of these days I'll show you a thing or two about flying. I can teach you more than Kogawa ever could. Speaking of which, I'd like to get in some time on my broom before classes.
Do you have a lot of time to fly during school?
I make the time. There's nothing like swerving through the spires of the castle and around the Quidditch pitch to clear the mind.
Goodbye, Imelda.
Nice meeting you.
They say herbology is the study of magical and mundane plants.
Have you finished your herbology essay? Mine's only about half an inch thick, and I found a black beetle on it.
Well, I suppose. No. I already knew that. Well, I suppose. No. That reminds me. Did Scribner say we could borrow the book overnight? Or that we'd get detention?
To master the Wicked World potion. Perhaps my stirring technique's a bit off.
Professor Harry is going to quiz us on rare water beetles. Can't wait.
makes no sense to me why first years don't study Abyssinian shrivel figs. Why should they escape the torment?
Do you think Elizabeth would like a fanged geranium? They're beautiful and terrifying. A bit like her.
Don't get me started on how horrifying venomous tentacula are. Why we're forced to engage with them in class instead of just reading about them is beyond me.
I really hope we get to see, or at least hear one today. What do you think Hogwarts looking? Do you think they're hiding from us? Nothing yet. I really hope we get to see, or at least hear one today. Do you think they're hiding from us?
already knew that. That is not helpful. That is not helpful. That is not helpful. That is not helpful.
Last time I saw your dragonhide gloves was at the vegetable patch in the greenhouse. Perhaps Garlic picked them up.
Chinese chomping cabbages terrify me. Something about a leafy vegetable with teeth seems extremely unnatural.
I think Garlic puts that venomous tentacular near us deliberately. She does. You see next time.
I'm convinced I'm the only one in my dormitory who doesn't snore. I shall need a sleeping draught to get a good night's sleep if it keeps up.
Someone loaned me a book on the International Confederation of Wizards. I was looking forward to reading it.
I couldn't agree more.
I'd never risk leaving things in the dormitory without a muggle repelling charm. What? It's highly logical.
Well, I woke up to one, wriggling its foul little tongue up my nose it was. I adore shopping.
I adore the hamlets near the coast. They're a bit damp, but ever so picturesque.
Life is so peaceful in the hamlets. Well, when goblins aren't lurking around every corner, can't be good for business.
I should like to retire to a small hamlet when I'm older. One just like Brockborough.
I have family in Einedale. Father wants me to visit them, but I haven't had the time. Or the inclination.
Apparently Marinweed was having a bit of a poacher problem. I wonder if that's still the case.
My family loves going to the Quidditch World Cup. Father was on the Barnton amateur team for a bit. Been obsessed with the sport ever since.
My older brothers were all sorted into Ravenclaw. They're terribly accomplished now. I'll never be able to live up to their achievement.
My sister will be home for the holidays this year. Hope she's bought me a new beater's bat. We're bound to have Quidditch next year.
My family and I travel somewhere every summer. I'm dying to visit Romania. Would love to see a dragon in flesh. In Transfiguration, I switched to writing ink with Fobberworm mucus. I thought it to be funny, and it was. To me.
My mother sends the foulest owls. I'm talking about the actual owls.
All I can say is, don't look inside my notebooks.
There's not 1 week gone by I haven't had a howler from my mother. She's doing it deliberately. It's because I left my room in a mess.
Got called on to read out loud in History of Magic the other day. Stumbled over all the words. I think I even bored bins. And that's saying something.
I can't help it if I was having a nightmare. Serves them right for talking about Lethervold right before bed.
Tried to summon the pepper at dinner last week and dropped a pudding into our prefect's lap. Not sure who felt it more, me or her.
I'm convinced that Binns called on me in class the other day just to embarrass me. How am I supposed to know what year the flu network was invented? Professor Sharp asked me what the ingredients are for an Ali Hotsy draft, and I could not stop giggling. Most embarrassing. Inappropriate, I suppose. My sister's always wanting quills made of whooper feathers. She's always after the latest fad. I've told her, a nib's a nib. Made the mistake of leaving my potions homework in the common room. I'm convinced Peeves absconded with it.
Let's be sure we make some time to study later then. The common room's a bit rowdy of late, so I've taken to using the library.
But it's always so noisy in the common room, and then I can't concentrate, so I end up just talking to everyone and nothing gets done.
Wish our common room was bigger. I can never find enough space to spread out my star charts.
I'd much prefer it if everyone could simply use all of the common rooms. I'm not a fan of mine, and frankly I find the decor quite depressing.
There was a rumour that if you knocked on the barrels in the rhythm of a Christmas carol, you'd get a present.
Ugh, don't get the password wrong is all I can say.
I know what you mean.
Ugh, I can't wait to have a nap in front of the fire in the common room later. After Sharp's last class, I've earned it.
They really shouldn't allow food and drinks in the common room. Stepped in a puddle of butterbeer the other day. Better than a failed potion, I suppose.
Wonder how well our professors did when they were students.
Madame Kagawa's getting a bit of an easy run of things, isn't she? What with Quidditch being cancelled.
I can't help it if I've never encountered a dangerous beast. When Howin asked me, I said I once had a canary. She almost threw me out of class.
In my opinion, divination is a load of rubbish. Professor Anai seems so logical. I don't understand how she believes the things she teaches.
I wish teachers wouldn't ask us questions in class. I'm always tongue-tied, unless it's Professor Garlick, or I suppose Weasley, or Inara. Just when I think I'm finished with my schoolwork, I remember another assignment. If it's not 12 inches of parchment for potions, it's 20 inches for charms.
Nothing to be learned at Hogwarts that one cannot learn out in the world. Of course, there's something to be said for eating the house elf's quince pie whilst learning.
I spent all night working on my history of magic essay. Almost fell asleep in class today. Though I suppose that's normal in history of magic.
I promise you, more teachers nod at you if you're holding a stack of books. I swear it's true.
I tried telling Hecate that someone cast Evanesco on my assignment. She said if I didn't get it sorted, I'd be the one getting vanished. My mother sends the foulest owls. I'm talking about the actual owls.
All I can say is, don't look inside my notebooks.
There's not 1 week gone by I haven't had a howler from my mother. She's doing it deliberately. It's because I left my room in a mess.
In Transfiguration, I switched the writing ink with flobberworm mucus. I thought it to be funny, and it was. To me.
I can't help it if I was having a nightmare. Serves them right for talking about Letherfolds right before bed. My family loves going to the Quidditch World Cup. Father was on the Barnton amateur team for a bit. Been obsessed with the sport ever since.
I adore decorating for the holidays. Can never have too many fairy lights, in my opinion. Not sure the fairies would agree, mind.
My sister will be home for the holidays this year. Hope she's bought me a new beater's bat. We're bound to have Quidditch next year.
My older brothers were all sorted into Ravenclaw. They're terribly accomplished now. I'll never be able to live up to their achievements.
I'd rather Howin be teaching potions than Sharp. I don't like how often he mentions common poisons. It's like he's planning something. What? It's not implausible.
In my blood, my mother says. From her side, at least.
If you pay attention, Sharp has plenty of useful advice regarding antidotes. I think people are too hard on him myself.
You know it does help to look at the thing while you're stirring.
Professor Howin was carrying some pearl dust the other day. Obviously, I asked her if it... I wish I could simply charm my exercise books to finish my homework for me.
I've been tempted to say I lost my wand just to get out of Weasley's assignments. How's that for Transfiguration?
Just when I think I'm finished with my schoolwork, I remember another assignment. If it's not 12 inches of parchment for potions, it's 20 inches for charms.
I can't seem to master the Wiggenweld potion. Perhaps my stirring technique's a bit off.
I shall never get...
I say, teach me everything going. In fact, if Hecate doesn't hurry up and teach me the Imperious Curse, I swear I shall get on that train and go home.
I suppose one could smuggle a pet into the dormitory if one was willing to use a disillusionment charm. But is it worth it for a common cat?
A girl in our dormitory keeps getting packages of homemade pasties from her family. We shan't fit into our robes for next term at this rate.
We're going to see who can stay up the latest. Sleeping drafts should ensure my victory.
I'm convinced I'm the only one.
I can't even cast Lumos for 2 seconds to do a bit of late night reading without my dorm mates getting riled up.
She put a bow truckle under my bed, and I know it was her. She's looking for trouble, that one. Looking for it.
Someone loaned me a book on the International Confederation of Wizards. I was looking forward to reading it.
I couldn't agree more. Imelda Reyes acts as if she invented Quidditch. I don't think she's even that good at it.
Wonder what Kagawa thinks of Quidditch being cancelled. Bet she's fuming.
Can't wait till I'm old enough to apparate. No more falling off brooms for me.
There are some impressive names at Spint Witches.
Madame Kagawa's certainly strict. I thought flying was supposed to be fun.
It's time to trade in my Oakshaft 79 for a newer model.
The only reason I'd want to play Quidditch is to wear those uniforms. So fashionable.
That Ray's girl thinks she can fly better than anyone. All talk if you ask me.
I used to enjoy flying, but there are so many rules now. Ah.
I adore the hamlets near the coast. They're a bit damp, but ever so picturesque.
Life is so peaceful in the hamlets. Well, when goblins aren't lurking around every corner. Can't be good for business.
I should like to retire to a small hamlet when I'm older. One just like Brockborough.
I have family in Einedale. Father wants me to visit them, but I haven't had the time. Or the inclination.
Apparently Marinwing was having a bit of a poacher problem. I wonder if that's still the case.
Well, I woke up to one, wriggling its foul little tongue up my nose it was.
I'd never risk leaving things in the dormitory without a muggle repelling charm. What? It's highly logical.
A girl in our dormitory keeps getting packages of homemade pasties from her family. We shan't fit into our robes for next term at this rate.
We're going to see who can stay out the latest. Sleeping drafts should ensure my victory.
I'm convinced I'm the only one in my dormitory who doesn't snore. I shall need a sleeping draft to get a good night's sleep if it keeps up.
I suppose one could smuggle a pet into the dormitory if one was willing to use a disillusionment charm. But is it worth it for a common cat?
She put a bow truckle under my bed, and I know it was her. She's looking for trouble, that one. Looking for it.
It's clear Ronan would have preferred a life in the theatre.
Wonder how well our professors did when they were students. Can't all have been top of their class, can they? Gives me some hope to think of, at least.
Wouldn't be surprised if Professor Binns bored himself to death with one of his history lectures.
I only speak up in classes where the teacher doesn't deduct house points for wrong answers. To be fair.
Madame Kagawa's getting a bit of an easy run of things, isn't she? What with Quidditch being cancelled. Professor Weasley is easily my favourite. Her wand work is exquisite.
The food that appears in the Great Hall isn't conjured. The house elves make it.
I tried to transfigure my parchment into a blanket. What's diligent that? Would have been fine if it hadn't caught fire.
I thought potions required precision, but transfiguration makes potions seem easy. Quite puts it to shame if you ask me.
You think Gareth Weasley would be better at transfiguration, considering his aunt teaches the thing? I promise you, more teachers nod at you.